Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magic Towers Resort. And today we continue working on Mystic Lagoon, the water park inside of Magic Towers Resort, of course. Now in this episode we're gonna build a few new slides because, you know, obviously it's a water park, so we need a lot of slides in the end. Now, there's gonna be a lot more going on in this episode. You'll see what that is going to be a little bit later, but basically we're making some pretty good progress, even though we didn't build that much in this episode technically, but you know, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, first of all, I'm building a water slide here that goes just very steep and then, you know, has a pretty long straight section to kind of, you know, lose on speed again. Now, this is pretty common at some of the more larger water parks. It's just one of the most thrilling water slides, pretty much. Not as in how thrilling it is to actually ride it. It's not that exciting. The most exciting bit is just actually getting up there and actually getting yourself to drop down there. That's a really scary bit. Apart from that, the ride itself isn't that intense actually. It's a lot more intense when you have very steep sections combined with a lot of turns to the point where you can't actually see what's going on anymore. I think those water slides are a bit more intense than these ones are, even though these ones are pretty much known as the most scary water slides, I suppose. And that's why you'll see a lot of water parks have them as well, because they're for the real daredevils. I can recommend them if they're really quite fun. They're not really that scary once you actually get over, you know, get over the edge, pretty much. Get yourself to the point where you're actually, you know, going down there. Now, at the end, obviously, you gotta get out as well, so I'm making a little bit of protected area where you can get out of the water slide. Have a little bit of space before actually walking back onto the main paths again, and vice versa. You won't really be able to you know, go from the paths to the exit of the water slide, obviously, because that might be a security issue. You know, don't want to have someone accidentally step into the exit of the water slide and get hit by someone who's going down very, very fast. So yeah, the top of this hill is basically gonna house multiple water slides. So I'm kind of extending this section that I made earlier at the back of the spaceship to this part so that I can accommodate more water slides. And up here we're mostly just gonna have the body slides. The body slides are water slides that, you know, you're just gonna slide down with your body instead of a raft or something like that. There are quite a lot of different water slides, and if you're interested in that sort of stuff, I recommend checking out ProSlide's website. Just go to proslide.com and you'll see a lot of the different slides that are out there. Now this is a body slide. We also have raft slides, tube slides, a lot of different types of slides that all offer a very different kind of experience. You know, body slides are pretty nice, but they can also be a bit rough to your body as well. So in that case, you know, tube slides are a bit more comfortable and sometimes can go a little bit faster as well, but not too fast, obviously, because you don't want people falling out of the tubes either. And then you have the very, very large raft slides, which the Pro Slides ones are the Mammoth water slides. And those are just for like big groups. You get to sit in them with 4 to even 8 people at a time and go down a very large, you know, round tube to get to the bottom. And with that, they're able to do some pretty cool little things on a very large scale, like a half pipe that goes up very, very far. It's really quite fun. A lot of different kind of slides and tricks that you can do along the slide. Now, speaking of those tricks, obviously I want to, you know, incorporate some of them, or some of the ones that are pretty cool to look at, into this park as well. And one of the very first things we're going to be doing is obviously the bowl. Now, the bowl is just one of those elements where you slide into a very large, well, pretty much just a bowl. You spin around a few times, and then at the center you go down the middle and continue sliding on. Now, there are 2 types of balls, obviously apart from the size. One ball type has you actually falling down the center at the end. Once you're done spiraling around, you just drop into a pool straight away. which is pretty scary. But you also have another type where right at the center there's just a tube that continues on with the whole water slide stuff, and that allows you to put in more elements after the ball has happened as well. It doesn't mean that you immediately have to end the water slide at the end of the ball, and you can do some more stuff as well with it. Now, next up, let's see. Yeah, I think the next thing that we're going to be working on is actually that the water slide in a bit. But as you might have noticed, I'm just making sure that all the water slides are now functional as well. So I created a return track. Obviously, we can't really have actual water slides in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. They are all vehicle based, and we have to get the vehicle back to the top. So I am making the water slide go down a bit, and then underground it returns all the way back up to the top, so it can load passengers again. And then I just put on a whole lot of vehicles. And make it work like that. That's probably the cleanest way to do it. It does require a bit more work to actually hide the track that goes back. There's another technique which uses the drop tower mode, I believe. And if you use that, it will the vehicle, like as it goes to the bottom, it will reverse back to the top and then actually go down. It looks a bit weirder, but it's a lot easier to set up as well. So it's just going to depend on, you know, what you want to prioritize, I suppose, so what you're going to be picking. But those are the two main ways that you can do a water slide with in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. Now, obviously, you also have some custom water slide vehicles that just completely remove the dinghy boat that you currently see. But obviously, we're not using any custom stuff here, so yeah, we're just gonna rely on the good old dinghy boats. Alright, so as you can see, I now connected up this park to the other park, so people can actually walk to this park as well. And in the meantime, I also solved a little bit of a problem in Magic Towers Resort inside of the medieval area, where guests were getting stuck in a place. And when guests are getting stuck in a place, it's a pretty good idea to just make an underground path from that place where people are getting stuck to the exit of the park, and that usually solves all your issues. So yeah, if you're working with pretty wide paths, like in a park like this, and people are getting stuck, just make sure that you add paths where the people are getting stuck. Make the path go back to the exit. And just in general, maintain an underground network of paths that just make it very easy for guests to get to the right where they want to go. Especially in a case like this where we have several parks that are pretty much disconnected. If a guest inside of the main park decides to go to the water slide, they are not going to be able to find it. So you kind of want to figure out where that guest is going to get stuck trying to find its way to the water slide, and then right at that point you'll make him go underground and follow the underground path network just to make him go all the way to the water slide that he wants to reach. Alright, so now we're going to build the ball water slide. Again, this is a buddy slide, so you're just going to be sliding down it with your buddy. I had a lot of trouble with this one. I did actually set up a ball slide in a test world before. It was a little bit smaller and I didn't realize this while building it. So I was kind of trying, to go off those findings that I found out back then. But it didn't really work out. So in the end, I spent a whole lot of time just trying to get this ball to work. But ultimately I just decided to make it smaller and copy the one that I had already built inside of my test park, just to make sure that that looks pretty good as well, because this version has quite a lot of gaps in it. Now in this test world I actually did a lot of tests for all the different water slide elements that you might find, so I'm definitely going back to that test world more often just to see what I already figured out, just to give a bit more variation to the different water slides that we have inside of this park. And well, that was my phone, I should have probably turned that off. Yeah, let me turn that off right now. Anyways, so yeah, that way we can have a lot of different water slide elements. That's just going to make it a little bit more interesting, because the water slides inside of Rollercoaster Tycoon obviously are pretty limited in terms of what you can do. Now, once we have done all the body water slides, we're probably going to build some tube water slides as well, and I want to do some mammoth raft slides as well, because those are really quite fun. They look really cool, and they have some interesting things that you have to keep in mind, which is going to be pretty interesting. So I'm pretty excited to work on that in the future, though. For this episode, we're just going to be working on the body slides. So yeah, here you can see me, opening up my test park real quick. You can't actually see that because I opened it in a different window, but yeah, just decided to make it smaller and actually copy that one, and that turned out pretty well. I quite like how that ball actually looks. I think it works pretty well. Now, it doesn't spiral around quite as much as with the larger ball, but yeah, I think it works out fine in the end. It's pretty alright. So yeah, this is the type of ball where you go down another tube at the end and just continue on for a little bit more, just because I thought that would be a bit more interesting. It's a bit easier to build inside of Rollercoaster Tycoon 2 as well. And with that, we'll just be building another landing pool, just like we did on the other side, because we have one more water slide to add to this body slide tower, and then we got all the slots for the water slides pretty much filled up again, and then we can continue on with the next water slides. So yeah, another landing pool right there, pretty much the same thing as we did on the other side. So yeah, that's not too special, but obviously we gotta hook this one up to the top again, just to make sure that it is gonna be functional. And for that, I am switching around the track types a lot, because for the tight corners, you have to use the something like the wooden wild mouse coaster, and to get the brakes, you need a roller coaster that actually has brakes. So yeah, a lot of switching around just like that, just to make this work. But in the end, once you actually get it to work, it's pretty neat, and I really quite like it. So yeah, right underneath the slides, again, we're just gonna continue on with the lazy river pretty much, because that's, I think, we're gonna make this lazy river go behind the mountain and then wrap around the edge of the park, just to hook up back to the end again. And I think this lazy river is gonna work using bumper boats, just like I did inside of the main pool area, just to give the illusion that people are swimming around there with tubes. We can do the same for the lazy river, but obviously the lazy river is gonna actually have a track to make sure that the the guests are going in one direction like you would on a lazy river. So yeah, again, adding some protective barriers there to prevent people from accidentally walking into the exit pool or the landing pool of the water slide, and adding some fences, of course, as well, just to make everything safe and well. Now, I do need to finish up the water slide later a little bit more, because the support work is currently pretty terrible. I need some custom support for that, because the supports for a water slide are pretty iconic. Where pretty much every time you go around a turn, there's just a single pole down the center of that turn, with branches holding up the water slide itself. So yeah, that's a pretty iconic thing that I need to copy over to all the other water slides as well. I have done it a little bit on the other water slides, the blue and the black water slide so far. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks like I missed a few spots, so I need to continue with that a little bit later. Alright, so yeah, we finished up the mountain a bit more there with some more vegetation, obviously. That's just gonna be there to kind of pretty it all up, make it look jungly, and give something nice for the lazy river to look at. And now here I figured that I might finally actually build a place where you can get on the lazy river. So just building some accessories there that help to give the idea that something is being stored there, just like something like the tubes that you use on the lazy river. You can see those there, and obviously we're gonna make this functional as well, so I'll just get started building with the boat ride that's gonna actually carry the people around. And we'll have multiple of these stops around the lazy river, because the lazy river, it can be used as a transportation thing, but in general, you just want to make sure that when someone is relaxing in the sun or something and they want to get on our lazy river, that there is actually a station for that nearby, and so that they can get on it and then maybe they can get off where the food is, you know, and then they'll spend a little bit more money. Seems like a pretty good tactic anyways. So yeah, here you can see one of the spots where guests were getting stuck. So I just solved that by building an underground path. And it looks like I wasn't really paying attention to the timeline because it looks like my recording has already stopped. Anyway, so that's about it for today, I suppose. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any suggestions for this water park, please do let me know in the comments down below. And like this video if you haven't already as well. And subscribe as well, because that will help other people discover these videos as well. And that will help to grow the channel, which is currently a little bit stagnant, to be quite honest. So it'd be nice to grow it a bit more again. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.